The debate over abortion heats up in Madison this week, plus the future of elections in Wisconsin in the hands of the state Supreme Court. CBS 58's Emily Fannin with politics editor J.R. Ross discussed that and more in tonight's Capital Connection.
We begin this week with the issue of redistricting. Now that the state's high court is reviewing 6 map proposals that were submitted after the state's high court ruled the current legislative district lines are unconstitutional. Now, looking at the 6 maps, a majority of them do give Democrats a little bit more edge in legislative districts, while there's 2 of them that kind of keep most of the lines in place and keep that conservative edge. Jared, looking ahead, what are you looking forward to next when it comes with these several maps proposals?
If and when Robin Vos, the Assembly Speaker, goes to the U.S. Supreme Court, files a challenge because of the maps the court picks. So, look, Robin Vos has said he thinks the maps Republicans drew are constitutional, they should stay. He has said Janet Prosewicz, liberal justice on the court, should have heard this case because she called the maps rigged during the spring election last year. He has said that Republicans' due process rights were violated because the court basically predetermined this decision of this case, didn't listen to Republican arguments. So these are all grounds to go to the U.S. Supreme Court and say, hey, you should step in and stop what's going on here at the state level. The key, Robin said, was which map they pick. Now, I'm a betting person sometimes. I'm going to bet the court will not pick the Republican map. It basically just addresses a couple of issues of contiguous territory that keeps the massive majority Republicans have. Robin has said if they pick a gerrymandered map for Democrats, he'll go to the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, here's a challenge. The court has said it's going to have it's been asked of a map replaced by mid-March. If Robin waits till after the map is in place to sue, we open the window to start circulating nomination papers in mid-April. That's a narrow window to get the U.S. Supreme Court to step in and stop the process without causing chaos. So when's it going to go? What's the map going to look like the court's going to pick? And then beyond that, have anybody done something that kind of avoids U.S. Supreme Court scrutiny? Remember, a couple of years ago, the court originally in Wisconsin picked Governor Evers' map. The U.S. Supreme Court, though, threw that out because it ruled Governor Evers used race inappropriately to draw a district, try to create an extra majority black district in Milwaukee. If you look at his map closely submitted, he made sure to keep the maps Republicans drew as is in the Milwaukee area, in the city of Milwaukee. There are 6 majority black districts, 2 that are now represented by Hispanics. Those aren't touched. They're Republican-drawn districts. He did that purposefully to avoid the U.S. Supreme Court saying, hey, there's a voting rights problem here that might get our attention.
All right, now let's move on to the issue of abortion, because there's a lot coming next week with this issue, specifically after Assembly Republicans unveiled a bill on Friday that would ask voters whether to implement a 14-week abortion ban. Right now, the state law is a 20-week, and Planned Parenthood is resuming services right now. This comes after Assembly Speaker Robin Vos told reporters in the Capitol Press Corps that this bill was coming. But it's going to be a lot coming down on Monday, because on this bill, there will be a public hearing on Monday at 2 p.m. here at the Capitol. Oh, by the way, it's the same day that Vice President Kamala Harris will be kicking off her reproductive rights tour in Waukesha. So there's a little bit of a coincidence that these are both happening here. But I also just want to focus too on why Kamala Harris is going to Waukesha, JR, because initially there were some reports that she was going to be coming to Madison, but Waukesha is a key area because that is part of the WOW counties and so those suburban moms. And we've seen how over the last statewide elections, some of those counties have been turning a little bit more purple. They've been heavily red over the many, many years. But last statewide elections, they're turning purple, a little blue. And that is the appeal that Democrats are hoping to get with this issue of abortion, as Republicans have really struggled with it over the past few years.
Both Harris and some of the Republicans trying to set the narrative, essentially. So first, with Republican lawmakers, they know they lose when the conversation is about whether abortion should be legal. They want to change that conversation to when it should be legal. By trying to put a ban or a proposed ban for voters, they're trying to change that discussion. Harris wants a discussion of, look, Donald Trump, who's in a very powerful position right now to win the GOP nomination, placed on the U.S. Supreme Court 3 justices who voted to overturn Roe v. Wade. Monday, it's the anniversary of Roe v. Wade. They're trying to put a narrative in, this is another abortion election, we should pay attention to this, and what Donald Trump did that led to various states having new stricter abortion bans in place now.
And also looking ahead to next week on Tuesday, Governor Tony Evers will be hosting his State of the State address that will be at 7 p.m. We'll be there and have full coverage on it, but we always kind of like to tee up possible themes that we'll hear, likely child care, maybe some things on taxes. But what I think is interesting about this speech, JR, is that the legislative session is nearing an end. So what his top priorities might be might not necessarily get done, but you know, there's still time to still do things.
These speeches in election year often tee up issues that governors want to talk about in that fall. So you might hear the occasional holy mackerel work together, but also Democratic priorities for voters to pay attention to come November.
All right, that will do it for this week. Thanks so much for joining us.